All right, welcome back to Mind and Magic. You know, when you do spirit evocation, you sometimes have some very interesting conversations, especially with goetic spirits or what many people would classify as demons. So let's get into it.
Thank you, Nero.
Those of you familiar with evocation will know that this is the case, that some spirits aren't very forthcoming. They don't want to say anything at all, and you have to pry to get anything out of them. And then there's others that just won't stop rambling. They can just go on and on and on. And it's a lot like people in that regard. Some are very talkative and some aren't. And when you come across one of those that like to ramble on, then look out because you're about to get an earful. Well, such was the case recently. Now, as for the evocation, I'm not going to go into who it was and what it was for, because it hasn't come to pass yet. And if there's one thing I've learned, is that they don't like you talking about what it is that they're doing for you. They very much like to keep your dealings with them secret. So we're not going to get into all of that. What I did want to get into was what the spirit said to me in an effort to sway me more to their side, I guess, because I do things pretty much by the book, and they're not too fond of the restraints and threats of the greater curse and all of that to get them to comply. Well, the spirit had asked me, why do you have an allegiance to the God who exiled us, wanted nothing to do with us, couldn't have us in his sight, and not only exiled us, but put us in the same place as the fallen? And by that, it meant fallen angels. And then there was talk of free will, but if you make a decision that God doesn't approve of, then you are damned for eternity, that kind of thing. And, you know, these spirits are crafty. They're pretty clever, because I was caught off guard. I didn't really have a response to that. It did have a point. Now, I've encountered this kind of thing before, albeit of different flavor. I've had Earth likened to a penal colony, you know, a prison planet, and the Watchers, who are kind of like the cosmic guards. It was put in my mind at that time that it's more like the virus software on your computer. Like when it finds a virus, it immediately quarantines it. And Earth is kind of like that quarantine zone, which is one of the reasons there are no other planets around us that support life. Because we're in quarantine, we're not supposed to leave here. But that's neither here nor there. The main point that the spirit was trying to get across this time around was, why are you loyal to a God that exiled and banished you here? It's a fair question, and I had nothing. You know, and I felt that it was trying to sway me. And one of the first steps in swaying somebody is to have them question things. But the thing you need to understand with these rebellious spirits is that they are rebellious. So they can't be trusted. It's not like I'm going to be like, oh, okay, well, we're friends now because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So let me step outside the circle so you can have your way with me. That's not going to happen. Even if what he says has merit, you don't want to buddy up to these spirits because they blame humanity for what happened to them. They're just as mad, probably even more so, at us than they are at God. It was commanded that man had authority over them, and Lucifer wasn't having it. Why should a being made of clay have authority over a being of light? And then as the lore goes, he persuaded a bunch of angels to rebel with him, and they were cast out, with mankind soon to follow. Right? So it doesn't really matter what they say to try to sway you. They know exactly what to say to get you thinking, to get you to question what you're doing, to even feel some camaraderie with them, like they're your buddy, in an effort to get you to let your guard down. Never let your guard down in an evocation. And I suppose that's really the main point of this video. You have to keep on keeping on even when they confound you. And if and when that happens to you during an evocation, your best course of action in that time is to ignore it. If you want to mull it over later, you can, but even that is probably ill-advised because, like I said, they're crafty, they're clever. They know exactly what to say and what your weaknesses are. And if they can exploit you, they probably will. Now, if you're interested in more discussion on evocation, I do cover it in the Laws of Magic series, in particular, Laws of Magic Volume 2, which you could get for 25% off through this video only. I won't be posting this deal anywhere else. The Laws of Magic is some of my best work because you could either learn magic the hard way, which could be quite costly, or you could have somebody tell you what and what not to do based upon their experience. That's what mentors are for. They make the mistakes so that you don't have to. So check it out if you haven't already. And that will about do it for today. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you found this video informative and useful. Check out my website, mindandmagick.com. Social media links will be on the screen in a moment, and I will see you next time. Take care.